watching famous Dave on YouTube.
All right, good morning, and thanks for checking me out. I'm just going to post this to StockTwits to see if we can get a couple more viewers, and then we'll start this little production here. Market's really in chaos right now, so let me just post this to StockTwits, and then I will start the little presentation here. Let's see. GME, UVXY. Market conditions live stream. Make sure that I'm posting the right thing. The little presentation here. There we go. Looks good. Let's send it. All right. Welcome back. Here I am. Welcome back. So market's really kind of looking chaotic right now as we come into the open. Thanks for joining me on the Short Vol Show live. So last week, no exaggeration, was the best week I've had trading in this decade. But I'm not going to talk about that. Let's go right to your questions. I make gains, but don't cut my losses. It kills me. How to take a loss. Market trader, my suggestion would be to, if you're taking a loss in a position, my suggestion would be to cut your position in half. So thus, I would get out of half your position. To at least, if you don't do that, I would at least do something to lessen your position today, because you don't just want to sit there and let it just take over. You want to get control of the situation. So if you're losing, I would suggest cutting your position in half and then reevaluating it sometime later. It's hard out there today, certainly. VIX up 371. The markets were up over when we opened the futures last night, but since then, E-mini selling off. Now, things could certainly turn around. This is a situation we're in today where there's not like a huge fundamental reason for the sell-off. Yeah, there's the headlines are worries about Russia invading. Let's go to Drudge. Worries about Russia invading, and actually the headline right now, it has to do with Tom Brady, but certainly there's worries about the Russia situation. But there's no real fundamental reason for the sell-off, which means that we could possibly rally out of here. You know, we still haven't opened today, so let's not say that the session's already over when we haven't even started yet. I'm sorry that you revenge traded and got smoked, market trader, but you seem to be pretty self-aware of your situation, so that's a good thing. You know, you gotta throw those trading cards from what you did yesterday over your shoulder and move on. It's over with. So move on and remember the lesson you learned for next time. That's all I can really say. So I came out of the session on Friday. I was very short GameStop on Friday. I was short like 600 deltas for a while, but I did come out totally in cash. I have a small long position, very small long position in UVXY right now, but I am looking to sell volatility here. You know, the VIX is spiked right now, and I think it's a good time to sell volatility, but obviously be careful. I'm not recommending any trade to anyone. First of all, I'm not qualified to recommend any trade to anyone, but we are spiking right now in volatility. Now, could it go higher? Certainly. Could we continue to sell off even more? Certainly. But I am looking to start to build some sort of short position in UVXY, and I don't plan on selling naked calls because that's too risky, but I do plan on either buying puts or some sort of put spread. If we quickly look at UVXY, I'm just going to try to quickly inform you so that you can get back to your current trading before the open. But let's go to the chart and look quickly at UVXY here. and then I'll let you get back to whatever you're doing. All right, so we're looking to open around maybe 18 or something like that, or even 19. So here's UVXY, currently 1905, and you can see the big spike. If we go to a 5-day chart, you can see we spiked from the 13 range up to 19. So I'm looking to buy something like the 17-15 put spread a couple weeks out in anticipation that we are going to bounce at some point in the next period of time. Now, if we look at the just straight up puts in the weeklies, these are risky trades, but the thing is like you only can lose what you pay for a put, right? But I'd be looking to buy if we stay up over the week and it becomes like Wednesday or Thursday and we're still way up here, I'd be looking to buy these out of the money puts weeklies, because all we need is one up day and this will rip back down to like 15 or 16, and thus some of these out of the money puts and weeklies could be a good purchase. I would just be careful about buying premium, because obviously these can melt in your face. But with this UVXY, it appears to maybe it will open up $2, and so something like the 16 puts could be offered at like $1, and I think that is a good shot that we could blow back down through the 16 strike if the market starts to bounce a little bit. So I'm looking to buy downside. I'm looking for a bounce in UVXY and to short UVXY here. What percent of my 31,000 are you willing to lose in a single trade? I am a risk-taking person. Me personally, if I feel good enough about a trade, I would risk 90% of it. But I don't suggest that you follow my example. I'm a risk-taking person. And I'm comfortable with taking risk. And it just depends on what kind of risk I'm taking. But I certainly have put all of that money into a single trade as recently as last week. Now, it wasn't a trade where I felt like I could quickly lose all that money. It was a trade where, like, if it went against me, I could lose a third of it maybe. But, you have to be careful. That's a lot of money, and you don't want to obviously lose it. But if I'm doing a trade, for example, if I'm betting that I was betting GME was going to go down, but what I was doing to do that was I was buying puts a month out. So if I buy the March 100 puts, if I'm wrong, I have 53 days for it to come back to some extent and to get out of it. So I'm not buying like a call that expires tomorrow. I cut losses pretty quickly. And I am an options trader, and I do have like 25 years of experience, so it's a little bit different thing. But certainly, I'm not a trader who's looking to make 2% per trade. I am fairly, I do take a significant amount of risk, but I don't do things like sell naked calls in UVXY. Anyway, you're welcome to watch my trades. I do publish my trades. Some examples of what I was doing last week in GameStop. I came in and I was short 600 deltas, which is the equivalent of being short 600 shares of the stock. So that's kind of the risk level that I've been putting on at most. And I won't go overnight short that many shares of GameStop. I might do that during the day. The most I've been short GameStop overnight is like 250 shares. And I did have the one day a couple weeks ago where I was short about 250 shares and the stock went from 130 up to 175. And luckily it didn't open there, but luckily it came back down. But yeah, that was pretty scary. I expect people to watch me trade and learn some stuff about execution, maybe about how I'm looking at option spreads and options trades. I don't expect people to follow me in any regard. And because, you really can't follow someone else to trade. You have to come up with your own ideas and do stuff. Because even if you could follow someone else, mere seconds. Isn't it risky to go short UVXY during backwardation? It is risky, but we do know that if you're far enough out in time, UVXY is going to go down eventually, right? It always does go down eventually. Certainly, the effects of contango are not helping us now because we are in backwardation, as you so rightly pointed out. But we're in a spike, right? The VIX right now, if we pull up a chart of the VIX, 33 is pretty high in the VIX. Can you see that chart right now? Let's see if I have it pulled up right. Yeah. So see this spike here? It is likely that it will not stay that high for too long. If we look at this is a year chart, we can see we're at the high end of the range in the VIX, right? So it seems like a decent spot to start to build some sort of short position. Now, fortunately, I don't have a position on now. A lot of people were already short and they're in the hole right now. And if you're in the hole, I would look to just hang out. If you have time before whatever position you have on expires, and I would look to hang out because we are at a high here. It's not a good time to be buying the VIX, I wouldn't think, in this environment. Let's take a quick look at VIX Central so we can look at what we're talking about when we say backwardation. And we can see when we look at the chart of the VIX here, the VIX term structure, that indeed the spot VIX, oh, here we go with the advertisements. The spot VIX is higher than all of the futures, which is unusual. We call that being inverted. And as you point out, AJM, we are in backwardation, and we know that because you can see the relationship between Feb and March. The March future is lower than the Feb future, which is the opposite of being in contango. That's being in backwardation. So at this point, we are both inverted in the chart and in backwardation, and that's because we're in the middle of a spike. Now, if you look at the contango number here, it's the opposite of contango, which means that if we were to stay in this shape, VIX products like UVXY and VXX actually are decaying to the upside now, right? Now, it's unlikely that we stay in this shape for an extended period of time because the markets will not go straight down forever, A, and B, if we were to stay with the VIX this high, the futures would eventually come up and meet the VIX and would rearrange themselves. So we are in an extreme right now, and it's a little scary, but I would be very careful about buying volatility or buying VIX stuff. If you were to buy UVXY calls, it would be a very short-term trade where you were looking to buy them and then sell them out quickly at a higher price type situation. We don't know if the market will recover from here, but what we do know is statistically, usually vol spikes last only like 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. We've been in a spike now for a couple days. Let's take a look just at UVXY over the weekend. I don't know if you want to count weekend days as part of the spike days, but regardless, if you look, we started accelerating Thursday, then Friday we went higher. So this is our third day in a spike, which is statistically longer than usual. So would there be less of a headwind if I shorted the VIX? Well, there's no way to actually short the VIX. I assume you're talking about VIX futures. VIX futures, you would be picking an individual future if you were shorting them. So you wouldn't have the effects of contango because it would just be one future. The UVXY and VXX are based on an average of two futures that changes every day, and thus you are exposed to the effects of contango or backwardation. Whereas if you shorted a VIX future, you would just be it would just be that one future, and the market is based on supply and demand for that one future. And if you traded options on the VIX, generally options on the VIX are based on the one future that corresponds to whatever month of VIX options you're trading. So, and as far as headwind goes, contango or backwardation effects are long-term effects. So when we're in a situation like a spike here, we're talking about the short term here. The short term, during a spike like this, the short term trumps the, I'm sorry if you think that word is offensive, the short term trumps long-term contango or backwardation effects when we're in a spike. So right now we're concerned with the spike. That's going to overpower and outweigh any form of contango or backwardation, because when we come off the spike, this will rush downward, overcoming any sort of effects of backwardation. Yeah, we are gapping right now. So be careful out there, folks. What we have when we drop very quickly, what we look for as professional traders is we look for people to kind of give up on their positions. It's called capitulation. When you see stuff drop really, really fast, and a lot of people are just throwing in the towel and giving up. And when you see that really violent move down, that can be capitulation, which means that you bounce from there. And this situation right now, I can't read the future any better than any of you can, but it doesn't seem like there are underlying catalysts right now for the market to just drop out. So I think there will be an opportunity to kind of buy the dip here in a capitulation type situation. So let's take a look just at the E-mini futures here in the drop. And yes, we are definitely rolling lower. I don't know if this is the bottom here. There's no way to know, right? And there's no way to know if this is the top of volatility. However, I am willing to start to slowly build a position shorting volatility coming in this morning. I'm willing to do that. Certainly a better time to short it now than yesterday or the day before. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I bought one share of Amazon on Friday, and it's already down like $300 since then. So my one share's lost $300, which is pretty ugly, but at least it's just one share. But craziness out there. Please be careful. The moments I was taught as a market maker, the moments of the most craziness like this are the moments of greatest opportunity. But you need to be really careful. Many people will just sit out days like today just because they want to be careful. But I certainly am looking to nibble at buying some of these stocks that are way down. I'm actually looking at even like maybe Robinhood, nibble a little bit, the stock Dibs, and also something like Amazon or Tesla that's just getting pounded. But who knows? It certainly can go lower. Yeah, let's look at Amazon for a second. Amazon has been very weak indeed. And there is this stuff before the Senate. They're talking about making the U.S. currency a digital currency, and I think that has the market spooked. But I don't understand the situation well enough to really comment on that. It seems to be that that is at play as well, though, is this sort of whole digital currency type thing. The cryptos, let's take a look at, so here's Amazon. Amazon has been getting pounded, certainly. It seems like a great company, and it seems like a buying opportunity here, but nobody knows really what's going to happen. Anybody who tells you they know for sure what's going to happen or that this is definitely a buy or a sale is just making it up, because there's no way to know what's going to happen tomorrow. And that's really one of the secrets of trading, is that there is no way to know what's going to happen tomorrow. So when people say for sure that they know what's going to happen, they are making it up, because you can't know. So let's take a look. Bitcoin here down 2,000. So certainly crypto getting hammered. Shiba Inu down 13% as well. So crypto is getting hammered, everything getting hammered. So this whole idea of like crypto being a safe place when the market sells off is not panning out, right? The market goes down and crypto is going down. So it used to be that gold was thought of as a safe haven for your money when the market goes down, and gold stay up a little bit, up $7, but crypto's getting pounded. So certainly crypto's not turning out at this moment to be like a safer place to put money. As people who watch this channel know, I'm not a fan of cryptos, but there are definitely opportunities in this market to be buying stuff, right? That's when everybody else is selling, the person that's buying, it can be a profitable situation. So let's not count this market out before the open. We haven't even opened yet, so we'll see what happens coming in here. But there is a certain possibility that this can bounce. So I would be very careful out there. So just to sum up my ideas, I think it's a good time to maybe sell a little bit of volatility here coming in if you don't have a position already. And I would do that very carefully, maybe by buying put spreads in UVXY or VXX. The other thing is I think there's probably some buying opportunities in some of these stocks. I'm being very careful with GameStop. I've been short that for a while, but it seems to be kind of glued to the 100 strike here. So I certainly can see this bouncing at some point. We've had a nice big move down in GameStop, and at some point it will find a bottom. I don't know if this is here or not. Certainly it can go lower. But careful out there. Anyways, thanks for watching. I've taken enough of your time today. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Any more questions, you can leave them in the comments. I try to respond to everybody who writes some sort of comment on the video. Yeah, Amazon looking weak. All right, thanks for watching. Best of luck to you trading. Be careful out there today, and I'll talk to you soon.